right, so my name is Tim.
My name's Erica.
And we are going to document our journey into aquatics. Neither one of us have a tremendous amount of experience with aquatics, so if you're somebody new in the hobby just like us, you can follow along with our journey, learn from any mistakes that we make. If we mistakes, anything that we make, what we learn, anything that can help you, just tidbits, tips, trades. But our first friend, we'll call it, a friend that we're going to pick up, a very cute, exciting friend. We're going to pick him up right now. We are in the parking lot to pick him up. I would tell you the parking lot that we're in, but it would ruin it. So we will go over it after we get home. So we're going to go inside and pick him up, and then we'll meet you guys back home. That'll be about an hour and 30 minutes for us. It'll be one swipe of the camera for you.
Are you excited?
I'm trying to be like gentle. Alright guys and girls, it's the next day and we're excited to introduce our first pet that we're going to be having. His name is Lox and he is an axolotl. So surprise, as you probably have seen in our icon, we love axolotls. So I will go ahead and let Erica explain what he is.
Lox is a hypomelanistic melanoid, which in biology terms means he produces less melanin than his wild or what's considered normal type counterparts. He still has the genes to express melanin, but he comes out in more of a very bright, almost yellow color. Hypomelanistic melanoids are currently highly sought after as they are considered a pretty new phenotype in the axolotl world. And only a few reputable breeders that we've been able to find have been successful in producing them. Hypomelanism should not be confused with leucistic or albino type axolotls, where in leucistic or albino types, they actually lack fully or partially the melanin that gives them that dark look. In hypomelanism, they still carry that gene, they just don't express it. Typically, hypomelanistic axolotls are more of a pale color, in his case, almost a yellow color, where albinos are almost purely white, and albinos also have pink eyes, where he actually has dark eyes. Now, here's where the exciting part comes in. Not only is Lox here a hypomelanistic, we highly suspect that he is also GFP.
And so the GFP is the green fluorescent protein that was introduced from jellyfish into axolotls. This is not something that we expected Lox to have when we got him. It was actually once we got to Axolotl Planet is where we got him, that they had one of their biologists on site and they actually did an inspection of Lox where they found out that, like she said, not only is he hypomelanistic melanoid, but he does have the GFP protein, the GFP, and he actually could possibly be a mosaic, but that was never confirmed so far. But
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I could see some of what they were talking about, the biologists, when they said that. When we picked up Lox, or when we first got him or started meeting with Axolotl Planet, he was a lot smaller than he is now, and so a lot of things weren't quite formed yet. Just some general things about axolotls. One cool fact that I love is that they can regenerate any part of their body, and so that is very cool. They are found in Mexico, is where their native habitat is. They are a fun little species. They eat a lot of like worms, slugs, small fish. You can feed them tilapia. They'll eat ghost shrimp. They'll eat just about any bug that's safe for them to eat. And feeding your axolotl, you definitely want to make sure that you're looking up what you're feeding him or her, so that you aren't poisoning them, things like that. But they are fun pets. Ours, from time to time, loves to be pet. He will swim up to your finger,
So
and
cute.
he loves the little rubs on the head, the pets. So if you're feeding him something, or your axolotl, something that isn't alive, you might have to wiggle it around a little bit just to get them to chase it, because they love the chase. But typically they can smell it once it gets into the water, so they'll typically go after it. I know Lox, he's very good about swimming up towards the top when he's hungry. When he's not,
just little laps.
yeah, he does little laps around the tank, and that's how we know he's hungry. He'll let us know. We have him in a 75-gallon tank, and you want to make sure that you get fine sand. You can pretty much pick this up at any pet store out there. You just want to make sure that you get the really fine sand, just in case they eat some of it. Maybe when they're feeding, they can digest it without getting impacted. Plants. We do have some live plants in our tank. We chose to go with a little bit of live plants off the top of my head, but you can pretty much look it up on Google, what are good plants for axolotls. There he goes.
There you go.
I like these. They're bigger plants so that they can kind of deal with the weight of the axolotl, because the axolotl likes to sit on the plants. They'll kind of do that where they swim to the top and they'll float down, and they'll just kind of sit on whatever they land on.
Sometimes he ends up in some really funny positions.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's a bit of a creep. You know, if you are sitting there and you're like, I don't know, playing video games or doing whatever on your phone, watching a video, and you look up, he'll be in like one corner, and then you look down, and then you look back over, and he's like peeking around one of the items in the tank.
He's so funny.
We also have a couple of sponge filters. Those are kind of the best for axolotls, or most people think that they're the best, just because they cause less current in the water. And axolotls don't really like much moving of the water. Yeah,
you can use the typical like generic filters, the ones where they flow the water back into the tank, but you need to be use some sort of I forgot what it's called, but it like stabilizes the water as it comes out.
I think he's a little curious as to what we're doing. He's always trying to figure out what we're doing, but we feed our axolotl earthworms or night crawlers and a mix of red wigglers. Yeah, and
I would steer caution to those that are interested in being axolotl parents like us, because feeding them is not for the weak-hearted. They, as a general rule of thumb, your worm needs to be no longer than the length of the axolotl's mouth from tip to tip. He's eaten full earthworms before, but recently it seems that he does not necessarily have interest in those as much, and he likes the smaller ones, which means that we, to put into kind words, make the worms smaller, if you get what I'm saying. And it's if you're squeamish, it's a little difficult, but I mean, it's worth it for our little guy.
Yeah, I mean, kind of with any reptile or fish, you're probably going to experience some not for the faint-hearted things. You can always feed them pellets. They make axolotl pellets. Those aren't the best diet for axolotls. Live worms, pretty much grubs, wax
keep it as natural as possible.
Yeah, I would consider wax worms more of like a treat for your axolotl because of the higher fat content. You want to feed them insects that have high protein and low fat is the best way for them to go. And once again, if you don't want to feed your axolotl live worms, I would say steer away from the pellets. Try something like tilapia. You can cut it up into small enough pieces, and you could feed them tilapia from the store. Just thaw it out, cut it up small enough to where they can eat it.
Do you think they make like freeze-dried worms and stuff too?
Yeah,
you can do that as well.
You can do freeze-dried worms as well if maybe you just don't want to go the live route. There are other options out there. I would look into them. Freeze-dried things typically sometimes can have less nutrients for being frozen. Just depends on how long they're frozen and things like that. So make sure you look into all of that stuff before you just do it. because you want to make sure that you're giving your axolotl all the nutrients that they need as they're growing. Once they get full grown, some of those options might be a little bit easier to do, but the main thing is while they're growing, you want to make sure that they get all the nutrients possible. So we have a pretty basic setup. We kind of got bare necessities. Something that you definitely want to have is a hide for the axolotl. They are more nocturnal than they aren't.
Which we are patiently waiting on.
Yeah, we are patiently waiting for a hide that we have that's going to go in the middle of the tank here. We did buy this little piece right here, and we thought it was going to be a lot bigger, and it ended up being kind of small. So we do like it, so we're just going to keep it as decoration. But we did get another bigger hide that he'll be able to grow into, and he'll have a little place to hide from the light and things like that whenever he's ready.
Funny enough, our axolotl doesn't seem to mind the light at all.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to care too much. I think he's more curious as to what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, as he spends most of the time at the front of the tank watching us and what we do. So Locke specifically is kind of an outgoing axolotl.
Yeah, he is.
Like I said, if you put your finger in there, a lot of times he will try to swim up to it. I'm not sure if it's just because he thinks we have food or if he just wants to say hello.
Yeah, I would like to think that our axolotl has feelings towards us and thinks we're his friends, but in reality, they aren't the smartest creatures.
No.
I mean, they're technically a salamander that is perpetually in its larval stage. Which is, I believe, this might not be true, but I believe that's also why they're able to regenerate like limbs, heart tissue and stuff, because they're just forever a larva.
Yeah, I don't know the official word on that, but they're really cool. They're kind of beginner animals. One thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're able to keep your tank below 70. The best is between 64 degrees and 68 degrees is the best range that you want to have your tank. If you're in a really hot place like we're in Texas, so we have hot summers, we keep the AC cool, and we also have a chiller that we're also working on and waiting to get here, but we do have a chiller. We will set that up. If you guys want us to make a video on how we set ours up, we can do that and show you how to do it as well.
We actually rearranged our master bedroom so that we can fit him in here because it was a cooler room.
Yeah, you talk about dedication to your pets. Locks now owns the master bedroom.
It's also important, a huge part of our daily life of taking care of them is just watching water parameters.
Yeah.
Because although they are, he's somewhat beginner friendly, we are constantly, daily, like testing ammonia, testing nitrite, testing nitrate, testing pH, making sure there's no chlorine, because they do tend to be pretty pretty sensitive to ammonia. Luckily, us having such a big tank, ammonia doesn't seem to be generating as fast as we thought it would. I'm not sure if all of the plants that we added are contributing to that. We did add beneficial bacteria to start composing or decomposing the ammonia down into nitrates, but even those, you're not supposed to have too many of them in the tank.
Yeah, and so, you anytime you're a beginner, you definitely want to cycle your tank. Make sure that your tank is producing nitrate, and that's just a conversion from ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. Leave a comment below if you want us to make any videos about axolotls or how we set up our tank, or if there's just any questions that you have. Leave us a comment and we'll get back to you as fast as we can get back to the comment. We will respond to your comments if you have questions. We're super excited to start this channel. I know Erica is just as excited as I am.
To get more?
To get more pets. More pets and grow. I think the vision is, we want to grow to a whole house full of pets, or a whole
A whole room dedicated to pets.
dedicated to pets. And we're not only going to have axolotls, we really want to get other animals and grow the channel. As we grow the channel, and bring on more family members and pets, that includes snakes, lizards, a fish. We want to do a saltwater setup.
Yeah.
I have a couple of ideas for that myself. I know that she has some snakes and things that she wants to get. So we're pretty excited to bring all of this stuff to you guys, show you guys care for those animals, how to do it. If you're interested in getting any pets that we have, or anything like what we have, answer any questions if you guys have them, and honestly just grow the channel and have fun.
I'm ready to have fun with some snakes.
Some snakes. She's excited to get some snakes.
But
Alright.
anyways, thank you so much for meeting our new little guy with us. We're super excited.
We hope to see you in the next video, so stay tuned for that video. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Alright guys, see ya.
Bye.